Hello, slight technical hitch there. It wouldn't let me go live for a moment, so I am back again. No favourite sunglasses this time, I'm afraid. Mr. Bird will not be making an appearance today. Although, if people want a live from Mr. Bird, I could try and do that and stay in character for the whole thing. Maybe fun. Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me. It's always a pleasure to see so many of you right at the start of a live. It's lovely to see you. It's been a little while because of the way the months have been going and the way the dates have gone. So it's nice to be doing a live stream again. It's just me today. Sophie's currently out and about. She's doing like a mini road trip to pick up animals for the zoo. So she may pop in towards the end, but I doubt she'll be back in time. So it's just me today. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be lots of fun. So bird-wise, I'm probably going to get Pickles and Scampy out. I may not get anyone else out because the boy's a little bit tired because I had a mini night fright. But we'll see how things go. We'll see if we can do some training. I thought I'd go back to topics for this live stream as well. So I've got some topics basically because for the egg laying, there was a couple of sort of things I wasn't very clear on. So I wanted to clarify them for a few questions. I want to talk about biting a lot because a lot cropped up with biting recently. I thought it's worth talking about. It's really popular topic because no one likes to be bitten by their parrot. Everyone wants to avoid it, but not everyone's sure how to do so. A little bit on training, and then a couple of questions that people sent ahead of my time, which I thought would be nice to cover for the actual live stream. And then it'll be the usual, we'll do a live Q&A. You can ask me any questions you've got. We can just chat. And as I said, at least Pickles and Scampy will be coming out. We can do some training. Pickles can come up to the camera and be silly. We can try and play Where's Pickles with her and see if she can get overexcited on the camera. Don't always like encouraging overstimulation, but it is kind of funny with Pickles, especially when you know how to calm her down afterwards. And playing Where's Pickles with her is very fun. Oh, yes. So let's have a quick look at the chat. So again, hello to everyone. It's really a pleasure to join. Sorry you join me. And yes, congratulations, Gina, in your new home. I mean, it must be quite fun, even though it's quite annoying at the start. We have to do all the carpet and all the scrubbing, cleaning and redecorating, but it's kind of fun because, you're making it your own, you're making it a really fun place to be. And I kind of like that aspect of it. Oh, so Sophie's actually here. I was going to say, I didn't think she was joining us, but she's actually in chat, probably via mobile. So she will be joining us via mobile. Congratulations, Gina, again, and hello, Sophie. So let's get on with some topics. So I'm going to start with a bit of egg laying, then we'll have a little break. Feel free to drop any questions in the chat. If Sophie can catch them, she'll respond to them. If she can't, then I'll just scroll back and read them later. Let's talk a little bit about egg laying quickly. So someone asked me about types of dummy eggs and what types are fine, what are not, because there's loads of dummy eggs available in various places, if you can even get them, depending on where you are in the world. And people were concerned about the safety factor. So you can get like these ceramic ones, and I believe they're made from that sort of material, like polymer clay sort of thing, because they have more weight to them. So it stimulates the weight of a real egg. Now, they're completely fine as long as you don't notice your bird chewing on them and there's no covering on them, which looks a bit plasticky. Plastic eggs are also fine, although you may find your bird rejects them because they're not the appropriate weight. So do be careful. Mostly they're all safe. Just make sure they're not broken, damaged in any way, or birds not chewing them. They reject them straight away. You may swap them out for a different type. That's basically all there was to say on that. The other thing that someone asked me, which I thought was really important, which I really wish I'd covered in that video, I might have to drop it in a pinned comment, is how long do you leave those eggs there? If your parrot's laying. So I said, leave them there as long as possible, say get out of the breeding cycle, but how long is long? So it's up to your individual birds to decide when they're done, basically. If you put a couple of dummy eggs, they've got a small clutch, you wait until they start showing disinterest in them. They just can't be bothered to be around them. The length of time they go away from them gets longer and longer, and they generally just don't want to be around those eggs anymore. And that's when you can remove them and it's okay. You'll also see slight decrease in hormonal behaviour as well at the same time. So it's all about watching your bird, basically. So, if they sit on those eggs and they're constantly guarding them, they're really stressed about them, you need to leave them there. Once that behaviour starts to shift and they're constantly feeding, playing, whatever else, most of their time, then you can take those eggs away and there's no need to have them anymore. It's down to your judgment. So basically, that was all I wanted to clarify on egg laying. So I thought it'd be helpful to mention it and have it on a video for people to refer to. Like I say, just watch this live to talk about it. So let's have a look. It will be the Pickle show, hopefully. She always does like to come on, and she's a big show woman. She loves to be a centre of attention, and hopefully Scrumbler or Scampy will like to play as well. Although most of the time, I notice he likes to get his stand time when they come out during lives, because Pickles can be a bit mean sometimes. So we have to use the other stand, or sort of get him to share, because he just likes eating on his own. It's quite I I don't know if independent's the right word. Shy, he's a shy eater. If that's the right way to say it, and he doesn't really like another bird being around him. So yeah, it's odd. We'll see what they like when they come out. Not much else to say in the chat. Everyone seems to be just listening to what I have to say and sort of saying hello to Sophie. So yeah, it must be interesting using the mobile, not hearing anything, but just scrolling the chat on the road. It must be an interesting experience. I hope it doesn't make you feel car sick, because I get car sick if I have to read it in a car. It's not very good for me. So I generally have to be like just not paying attention or just looking out the window. Otherwise, I get really funny with it. So if there's no questions, let's go straight on to biting, because it's the biggest topic of this live. Hello, Melissa. Welcome. Welcome anyone else who's joined, by the way, while I've been talking away. So yeah, there's biting's the big sort of topic of this live, because I think it's important again. And there's sort of three main areas I want to cover, and that's, is biting inevitable? Conditioned calm and reinforcing the calm, and then look at environmental factors. And I know I have talked about environmental factors in a previous live, previous videos, but I want to go back to that again in this one, because it's something that people just overlook a lot of the time and don't consider when they're getting bitten, when they're coping with biting, when they're trying to train out biting behaviors. So let's start with, is biting inevitable? So I used to say that biting was never inevitable with parrots. Now, I'd like to modify that, especially having two crimson bellies in this house now and their big personalities. I would say biting is not inevitable, and it depends. You will get bitten at some point, probably by your parrot in its lifetime. You know, for whatever reason, your parrot will probably bite you at least once. And if you only get bitten once in the whole life of your parrot, you're exceptionally lucky. You know, we're talking about lottery lucky. They like to explore their beaks no matter what species. You know, there will be things that happen in the environment. So you will get nipped and bitten sometimes. And it's important to know how to cope with that and what to do with it. Should biting be tolerated? And when I say tolerated, I don't mean like putting them in prison or punishing them or anything like that. Not really, because it's something that can be worked on. It's something it's not ever a lost cause. You know, I had my My Bird Hates Me video, which I put up ages ago. You had to talk about extreme cases of biting and birds not liking someone and how you work through them. And something can take a lot of time, but it's generally worth it, because, you know, the payout's good. You know, it's contra freeloading at its finest. You know, basically working for your reward. You know, you put that work into these birds who may have difficult pasts or may just have a problem with you, and you work through it, and it's a big reward when they start interacting with you. Kipling's probably the best example of this for me. You know, with Kipling, my very first encounter with Kipling was he flew out and he landed on my head and he bit me on my head really hard. I was like, oh my goodness, is this what I'm going to have? And it took a long time with him. And my relationship with him is quite hands-off. You know, he'll accept scritches from me, accept treats from me, he'll train with me. He'll step up with me most of the time, but he's still, you know, not really handsy like with Sophie. And even then, you know, he's still a little bit nippy sometimes. But I can play with him. I put up a short today of me sort of playing the scare game with him around the side of the door. It might be worth watching. It's quite funny. And we have a really fun relationship, and I can interact with him without having to worry about getting bitten now. And that just came with work, you know. That work started with something as simple as me sitting in my chair with my hood up and doing nothing. Just sat there, literally doing nothing and just not reacting and making myself a boring target, you know, and not overstimulating, which will bring us to the next topic after in a second. That's where it started, and it came with more active interaction. That took a lot of time. So when you see someone saying that biting is just something you have to just deal with, I wouldn't agree with that. I would agree that biting will happen, because there's loads of things that can lead to it, you know, sorts of situations. But can you work on it? Absolutely, can you work on biting? And there's so many ways of doing it. I've got loads of videos. I plan to make more videos on biting, discussing some of the topics I'm talking about today in more depth, all sorts of different things, because there's so much to it. You know, you think biting is just a behavior where your bird doesn't like you. It's not as simple as that. There is so much that goes into it. And it's like with a human psychology. You know, if you have a human who's a bit of a not a very nice person, generally there's reasons behind that. So, you know, it's the same with birds, and we can't treat them just like, oh, they're biting, so they hate me. You know, Sophie doesn't always agree with me, but I like to vocalize if I get bitten, like, oh, the bird doesn't like me or whatever, in my private, because I wouldn't do it in public, so it gives the wrong impression. But, you know, but that's my stress. I'm not thinking the bird actually hates me or anything. That's literally to release some stress from me, so I don't react adversely or like get all silly with it. So it's really important. Biting happens, work on it. You will reduce it until it maybe never happens again, or it's very occasional. That's basically the topic. So let's catch up on the chat, and then we'll go on to the next topic. So I know it's quite a long one. So Alice, oh, hello, Station. Sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. And hello, Thomas. Alice, timely topic for me. My conure bit me for the first time in a long while, probably overstimulation. I wasn't paying enough attention. It really hurt. It was very hard not to react. It can be immensely hard not to react. My goodness. So Charlie still bites me occasionally because I'm still working on stuff, which I'll lead on to my next topic. Again, sorry, I like to say that. And it's really hard not to react. So sometimes I'll just like grip my the arm of my chair. So that way I won't jerk or anything. I can not vocalize. I'm quite good at that, but I will not move. And that's the easiest way for me. Obviously, you can't do it. It's unexpected. And it is really hard not to react, but it's so important because any reaction equals fun, equals stimulation. So you have to be very careful with that, parrots. So Ferret Grandma, Avi has been much better with me recently. Hardly bites me at all unless I try to get her to step up with my hand. Again, it's something that can be worked on over time, it's patience. And sometimes you will notice improvements. And you also notice the graph isn't always going to be like, up. It's sometimes going to dip down a little bit. It's not always stable. Parrots and Wills, I think some amount of biting is part of the bird's communication, and it's us humans that tend to interpret it as bad. I would agree to that to an extent. So, for example, beaking, nibbling, or just telling us no, and that is absolutely their communication. So in that, I'd 100% agree. So if your parrot's just biting often and it's not really for a discernible reason, then maybe we need to work out why that's happening. But yeah, sometimes they do communicate with us by biting. It's an important point. They will communicate us when they don't want to do something. If we're constantly trying to get them to step up and they don't want to, and we keep putting our hand in front of them, they'll probably just bite us eventually to tell us, no, I'm sorry, that's my border. I don't want to do that. If we don't make our intentions clear enough to them, they may bite to tell us no again or see how they feel. Hello, Bonnie. Hi, New York, lovely. So that's very important. Joe, oh yeah. So sometimes the chat I've noticed in live, because I've watched other lives, it will not work. So the best thing is just to refresh. Same with catch up on a video, that sort of thing. It does happen, So if the chat ever sort of stops, just refresh the thing, refresh your browser, and it should work afterwards. So Nikolai, my one conure, Smith Pickles, likes to nip rather hard, frequently when she has my arm. I simply scold her, but her behaviour is one where her attention span is very short, quite dopey. So Nikolai, remember, scolding can be a reaction which can lead to more biting. So generally, as we were just talking about a moment ago, it's better not to react. With regards to crimson bellies, there may be a slight middle ground there, but as any other parrot, short of a cockatiel or a crimson belly, I would never recommend reacting. It isn't the best way to do things. We've got a sort of thing we call a biting protocol, which is don't react, place somewhere neutral after a 5 second. Don't react, place somewhere neutral, 5 second interval, then redirect to another behavior where you can give them a chance to earn reinforcement. The purpose of this is to break the connection between biting and reaction and get them to do something more positive. So they're like, I could bite you or I can get a nice treat. You can do it more directly by redirection. So when your parrot's about to bite, you redirect them and they do something else. So they have that easy choice, targeting being the best measure. So Nicola, I would suggest maybe trying a redirection technique with targeting rather than trying to scold her, because she will learn and she'll be like, well, I'd rather target. Yeah, I get nipped on the ears occasionally, but it's very, very light. Scampy likes to nibble my ears, but he sort of learnt with me that biting doesn't really get anything because I'm quite good at not reacting with him. So I don't really mind that, to be honest. It's not really a big deal for me. So Klaus, did your cockatiels ever bite you? Has anyone been bitten by their cockatiel? Just curious. So I've heard of people being bitten very hard by their cockatiels. It does happen, especially if you get a very hormonal or mistreated cockatiel. Our cockatiels, they nibble me. Like Chip will tell me off sometimes. Fish will tell me off on my especially when he's sleeping on my shoulder and I get my hand there. He'll be like, he does this little frenzy nibble thing, which isn't really biting, but it's telling me I don't want to come off. But yeah, very rarely, but it does happen. So cockatiels can be quite brutal. I've seen, because obviously with our consults we encounter the more extreme sides. They can be horrible. I quite like them. I often see cockatiels as like the innocence of the bird world. Because most of the time when you have other parrots in the world, they're bullied. They're quite generally placid, but yeah, I have a really soft spot for cockatiels. I think they're adorable. So, Joe, the first naughty of the day, well, I don't know, maybe the only naughty of the day. Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. I think I can actually click a little like now. I think they let me. Oh, how cool is that? I can click like now as well. So I can do that instantly, then shout out afterwards. So thank you very much, Joe. It's very, very appreciated. Referring to Sophie's tongue video, my cockatiel love to use their tongues to touch my fingers but never bite. So all our parrots do that. Pickles will lick me. Scampy will lick me. The boys will lick me. I can feel their beaks not in a violent way. I love petting their beaks and scratching their cheeks. Yeah, it's all good fun. And you'll notice that sometimes our parrots will use their tongues to interact with us. Sometimes they're just doing it because we were a little bit sweaty, like the taste, or we've got a little bit of that residue of that lovely pizza we had earlier if you haven't washed your hands quick enough. But yeah, it is a thing with them. I'd love to investigate it, but I don't have enough like resources to do so, or like sample. It'd be kind of cool. How do parrots communicate with their tongues? Do they tell us songs with their tongues? It's an interesting concept. Ferret grandma, my teal nips when he's in a bad mood. They can do, exactly. Yeah, Alice, it's just Joe has started a naughty train. I won't do any chewing until later, even if it is the only one. They are generally sweet. Yeah, parrots and wills. When hormonal, that is generally the most likely time any parrot's going to bite. You know, it's a big thing, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Whew, deep breath, a quick drink, and then we'll get on to the next topic of biting, which I think is the most important one today. So I did a Patreon video recently on encouraging calm and reinforcing for calm with Charlie. Because basically it was unedited. I just thought I'd film it because patrons wanted more unedited footage, and we thought it'd be a bit too boring for the main channel. But long story short, Charlie, we think that we may have accidentally reinforced overstimulation with me and Charlie right at the start. We know he has a slight problem with me as well, so we made the problem worse by trying to positively reinforce it with me. So now he's constantly overstimulated with me. So what I'm trying to do now, and he's nipping, biting, is obviously not react, do the usual biting protocols, you know, the same sort of thing I do with Kipling. But I'm also doing in-cage training where I'm reinforcing him for calm. And I think it's something that's often overlooked when it comes to dealing with biting and trying to reduce the likelihood of biting. Because many birds will bite when hormonal, as parrots and wills, just mentioned, a few of you other mentioned, but they will also bite often when they're overstimulated. And you'll see this very commonly in conures of all different species, all different types. And you'll see it in larger birds like cockatoos, macaws as well. They will get overstimulated, overexcited, and they will bite purely because they don't know how to get energy out, or that's the only reaction they can think of. So with Charlie, the way I'm approaching it is I am trying to reward him for calm. You know, if he's calm with me, I will reinforce him. And in the video, all I did was basically just very briefly, I basically went up to the cage. He gets very overexcited about me approaching, so he thinks he's going to get a treat or attention. I just wait patiently. And then when he starts showing signs of calm, I just reinforce it. And it sounds so simple. It is so simple, but it really is worth doing. It's very rewarding over the long term. We never give any guarantees for like timescales of these things, but I am seeing results already with him, and I've been doing it for only a little while. Just reinforcing for that calm behavior, because I'll be doing another sort of series where he gets overexcited when I walk into the room, and I want to calm him down there as well. Because if Olive's in the way, he kind of barrels at her out of the way. She doesn't like it, so I want him to I want him to be calm around me. I want him to know he can be calm around me, still get his reinforcement, still get his treats, and still have lots of fun with me. And I think it's a fundamental skill, and it's one that's so easy to overlook when it comes to our parrots and biting. You know, it's just really easy to overlook. It's just, again, repeating myself, so easy, but we all don't think of it. Even me and Sophie didn't think of it right at the start. You know, I should have been reinforcing from the calm right from the start. And it's very valuable. Oh, here we go. So I can like that. Thank you, Xing Emporia. No, thank you again for the opportunity to like be with Charlie, basically, because he's made Olive happier, and Sophie absolutely loves him as well. I really like interacting with him. I just hope I can get to the point, at least with Kipling, where I can have more fun with him. For example, you know, with him, when I do target training through the bars of him, completely calm, takes treats gently, there's just something I've linked with myself and something about me when out and about that leads to that overexcited behavior. So that's something I need to break as an association. But yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for, you know, the opportunity to look after him as well. Yeah, so naughty train. Gina did naughty Joe. So Nikolai, parrots do have taste buds. I think most of their taste receptors are towards the back. However, I am beginning to wonder if they do have some sort of bits on the front that do have sort of temperature sensors. Like, again, this may be my ignorance here, which I need to look into it more. But yeah, you have to be aware of it, that they do actually use their tongues in many ways to, oh goodness, they do sense lots of different things. And it's because, like Alice, so Alice basically said it perfectly. I don't need to say it. Yes, they don't have receptors like we do, so they don't taste it. They can enjoy those lovely hot chilies. Mikey and McCall did a great video where they sort of did a sort of challenge where they ate some chilies and the parrots ate some chilies. You can see the humans' reactions, and the birds are like, it's fine. So Ferret Grandma, thank you very much for joining the naughty train. I like your little icon. Is it number one? Is everyone's number one? You're all number one to me. So yeah, exactly, Bonnie. You know, and oh, sorry, hi, Pioneer's Tales. I completely missed you joining. Your little wave. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. So Christina, hello. My Konya started nibbling on every wall corner he can find. Any recommendations to how to avoid it? So you don't want to accidentally reinforce it. So if your Konya goes to that wall corner and he like starts nibbling and you immediately take him away, give him lots of attention, that's going to breed more of the behavior. So you kind of need to stop it before he gets there. Maybe if you can block them off temporarily, maybe if you can redirect him, that's probably the most effective way for doing things. For example, when the boys go up on the curtain pole and they start chewing that, I'll try and redirect them with targeting to get their attention away. Then I'll take them down, because when they first started doing it, you know, you would take them down and we'd be like, yay, get them off the wall, you know, stop them doing it. And then they fly back up there because they want to be taken down. They want the attention. So you have to be careful with that. So redirection, stopping it before it happens in the first place. And what else can we do? You can try and interrupt it as well. But I think redirection, stopping it before it happens, are the most effective techniques. You know, they're the most quickest and easiest things to use. Thank you for joining me. You know, I value all my viewers, and it's nice. It's nice to just do this. I enjoy sort of talking to you directly, you guys, and doing these lives. It's a lot of fun. Ferret Grandma, yeah, redirection is most effective. There are a couple of other things you can try for it, but generally, stopping for after redirection are the most effective techniques. So I'll finish off the little biting section. Then maybe I'll get the little birdies out. People and Scampi can join me, and I'll try and get through the other sections if they're not too distracting for everyone. So the last thing I want to talk about biting today is environment. And that can be time of year, that can be the habitat, that can be what's going on around you. All those factors play into biting as well. So if you've got a parrot that's biting you, you really want to look at the environment. Is there hormonal factors going on there? Is that impacting their likelihood to bite you? Is there a plane flying by? We had a macaw consult quite a while ago where it would get very reactive sometimes. The owner's like, what's going on? And they live near an airport. So there'll be planes flying overhead. And when they're training, sometimes the loud plane noise would get the macaw really sort of worried and looking up, and then it would bite. So those environmental factors can play into biting massively. And it's important to remember that. So sometimes now, actually, before I train, especially with conies, the cockatiels aren't so reactive, I have a peek out the window if there's any crows or anything going on, just to reduce the likelihood of a failed training session or a bite. Loud noises, especially with conures again, cockatoos, especially in conures. So vibrations, washing machines are a big culprit for this, vibrations and noise. Kipling does this little Kipling song when it's going on. Charlie will sometimes start hooting and making vocals as well. It's not a good time to train or interact. So make sure that your environmental factors are nice and calm and conducive, and that could include you too. It's so easy to get overstimulated ourselves with training and interacting that translates onto our parrots. So you want to be nice and calm. And I'm trying to be very mindful of this because with us, because we're so used to doing it all the time, you're used to gauging your bird's reactions. And sometimes they won't get overstimulated because there won't be enough factors there. So maybe you will. And then at one time you do start getting overstimulated, it leads to a bite. And you're like, oh, why did I do that? So being mindful of yourself is very important as well. That's basically it, really. That ties off biting. Just keep like aware of your environment when you're training, and that will reduce your biting likelihood. And even just interactions or even petting. You know, Scampi is on and off with pets. He likes being blown on around his just behind his cheek. That's his favorite thing with me. He likes to cuddle. But when it comes to pets, he's very particular, and he will be very reactive if those environmental factors aren't like right, and he will nip. So it's something to be aware of. Parrots on Wheels. I quite enjoyed it. I quite like a lot of Mikey's content. Not everything, but there's a lot of things I do like, and at least it's sort of like honest and like frank about it all. It's quite good. You're welcome, Christina. Vacuum cleaners too. Yeah, vacuums can be very exciting. Like, I think, again, another mistake we made when we first came in is I always did the vacuuming. So Charlie associated me with that as a scary noise. So it's a shame we can't really address it now. He's fine with it now. He's just gotten used to it. especially with me doing it. So in the long run, it worked out. But at the start, it wasn't doing me any favors with my relationship with him. Although I did see a funny video of a conure sitting on top of a vacuum cleaner and just enjoying it, not scared of it, not overstimulated, just loving it. So I suppose it depends on the individual bird. It's quite funny how they react in different ways. So just to summarize that as well, because I think it's important. Is biting inevitable? Sometimes it will happen, but it's not a lost cause ever. Make sure you're reinforcing for calm. If you've got a biting problem, it may pay you dividends in the long run. And be aware of your environment when you're doing training or interactions, because that could be your missing link to why the biting's happening. That's it, basically. Gina, Squirt will do that to me as well. 1 second enjoying, squishes in and bite. Yeah, the crimsons are the worst for it. I find our green cheeks, I don't know if it's because I'm very good at reading them. It barely ever happens to me when I'm petting them. With the crimsons, I can't pet Charlie yet, but with Kipling, yeah, sometimes he'll be like, no, you're done. So, and obviously with Scampy very rarely, but normally I've stopped before it gets to that point. Really, Alice, some of my birds always want to bathe when the vacuum is running. I wonder if it somehow got linked to that behavior, like the noise got linked to bathing at some point, and they're like, oh, it's really cool to do that. Zeus, Zeus. This icon's hiding what you're trying to say to me. Zeus, the Gende hates the upstream, just hates the vacuum cleaner, alerts everyone in the 3 mile radius. Yeah, they're not the most popular devices for many parrots. Some will tolerate them. You can do some desense work or rewarding for calm around them. You can even do negative reinforcements with your vacuum. You can do it with the actual vacuum, or you can take the actual physical vacuum out of the picture and just use your trusty mobile and just noise the vacuum. And then, say, for example, you have just get the volume nice and neutral, not like too high middle level. Have your vacuum noise playing, bring it up to your Gende, Zeus, to the point where he's starting to get worried. So you don't want him really alerting. You want to just do it to the point where he's just a bit nervous or he's expecting it. And that may be you having to reduce the volume or distance, whichever one works, basically. So bring it to that point where he's a bit nervous, leave it on, and wait for him to show some signs of calm. So if Zeus starts like relaxing a little bit, preening, goes to eat, turn the noise off, remove it. And that's basically teaching Zeus that when he's calm around that noise or the item in question, say the vacuum cleaner, it goes away. If he's alarming and stressing about it, then that item stays there. It's a really useful technique. It's a very simple one. It's basically negative reinforcement fundamentally. And you can apply it in many different situations for desensitization work as well. So Bonnie, thunderstorms are loud. Mine love it. Ours love them as well due to just playing the sounds constantly. They're just completely indifferent. The only thing they do get scared of sometimes is like a lightning flash really close. But obviously that's going to be shocking to anyone. Sometimes it startles us as well. So yeah, it tends to be quite interesting how they interact. So caught up with the chat, finished biting. Hope it was useful to people. Let's have another sip of drink and let's get the 2 monsters out before I do a bit on training and do the questions. But I'm almost half an hour in already, and I haven't even got to just the general Q&A bit. I suppose I've been doing it as we've been going. Right, all, you ready? Are you monsters ready? You coming? You get well. Say hello first. You gonna say hello? Oh, wow, you're posturing. What do you want? You want something over there? What do you want? Look at this posture. Look at this posturing. Wow. Well, Pickles is telling you all off. What do you want? It's gone all quiet. The chat's gone all quiet. Am I missing something? Are you just all like entranced by Pickles and Scampy? So let's see if Scampy wants to eat. Otherwise, he'll probably just hang around on me. Do you want a snack? Yes, no? You don't seem to want a snack. I'll move it closer so you can go to it if you want to. Oh, so Pickles is basically overstimulated. She's excited, so she's posturing. But luckily, it's not the kind of overstimulated where it's going to lead. Oh, okay, it's just using the floor as a toilet. Lovely. Yeah, the head weaving, the bobbing. And also, by the way, if she's gesturing in one direction, she wants something. So she probably sees me on the other screen. She thinks she's going to have a movie, so she wants to go there. Where do you want to go? What do you want? I'll tell you what, if you go there for a second and let me just get the treats, you can have one. See if I can get you to wave on camera. Wave? Wave? Come on, you can do better than that. Pickles, wave? Good girl. You want to go over there, so you can go over there, and then we'll get you on my hand. You come in? You are so fussy, honestly. You wait for everyone? You say hello? What a good boy you are. Yeah, her dance moves. Oh, when Pickles gets really overstimulated, she dances and then some. So we're gonna try and flip. Are you sweet? What is wrong with you today? You're normally so like brave. Do you want to shake my hand? Yeah, what a good boy you are. Pickles is basically just watching me on the. I've got my computer on so I can make sure nothing gets laggy, and she's just watching me on the screen and bobbing. So she's not interested in being on a video. She just wants to watch me and Scampy on the screen. You say hello. You're a big boy, aren't you? You're very handsome. You know, you disappear. You disappear when you go up there. Oh, you are silly. I'm not letting you fly up there because you're going to put your tail right over that camera. So go on there for a second, and then we'll get Pickles back. It is the Pickles show. So do you want anything from Pickles while she's here? Do you want to just get her excited to my voice? Pickles, mate. Oh, so where's Pickles? So if you want to see overstimulated from Pickles, you can just play Where's Pickles with her. So you know, like the peekaboo game you play with a child, you know, you cover your eyes and you go peekaboo. All you do that with a high pitched tone is Where's Pickles? And she will posture, she will dance, she may even bite because it's so exciting to her. She absolutely loves it. So I'm not sure I should do it because that's not the sort of message I want to be giving to people with parrot training. I did record a short of it, so I'll just pretend that it wasn't deliberate. But yeah, so basically, sorry for it, Grandma. I didn't know if I answered your question. So basically, when you get that dancing, it's excited or it's overstimulated. If it's excited, it's not really a problem. If it's overstimulated, it can be. And there's a very thin border between the two of these guys. And have you noticed Pickles is on the bowl and on the stand, and Scampy's come over to me. And he's just wooing. Kiss. Good boy. That's another thing I've tried to do with, especially with him, like try to get him to interact with my face very gently to know that I'll never get bitten on my face. Because obviously that's the biggest concern with a lot of people. So I try to reinforce him every time he's gentle, interacting with my face. And it seems to work quite well with him. Oh, okay. Do you see her in the background? She's just scratching around the substrate. She probably wants your attention then, a ferret grandma. She probably sees you. She gets excited by seeing you and she wants your attention as you're walking past. So it depends if you want to reward that or you want her to calm down first. Just talking about what we were talking about earlier, rewarding for calm. Depends in what context she's doing it, as if she's getting really stressed by it. What do you want? Are you watching? Oh my, they love their movies so much. So let's talk a little bit about training while these guys are out. So again, reinforcing calm is a fundamental training, and also repeating the behavior as well. Because a lot of people, when they're training a new behavior or a behavior, sort of skip the repetition bit. And you want to constantly be repeating that behavior. You know, even if they learn it, you want to be keeping the repetition going on that behavior over and over. If you learn a wave or a spin, don't let that behavior get sloppy because they may forget it or may not want to do it as much. So constantly repeating it and maintaining it is really important. Another thing I wanted to bring back, so I haven't talked about it much, is novel enrichment. And novel enrichment just basically means things that are a bit out of the ordinary, but interesting. And I deliberately used little toys and fun things with our parrots, not just to get views, but because they enjoy it and it's interesting for them. It makes them work out their brains. Like, you know, just putting things in a receptacle for a parrot is quite a big thing. And doing it consistently, color sorting, knowing what thing to pick up and what to do, puzzle solving, all of this is really important, and I think it's really useful for them. And you can achieve that through foraging as well. It doesn't always have to be from like novel enrichment through toys. It can be through foraging complex puzzles. That would qualify it as the same. It's just a term that gets thrown around a lot, but it's really, really helpful. And all of our birds really enjoy it, and it's really worth doing it because it's fun, rewarding, and it's not just for content. You know, a lot of people do it for content, and maybe when I first started doing it with Chip, maybe that's what my intention was. But I've just seen how beneficial it is to him and how much he enjoys it that I keep doing it. So yeah, that's all I want to say on training. Really, hopefully that's helpful to someone. So she just took a bath and flew at Ferret Grandma. I'm sure she enjoyed that. These guys like to do that. Scampy likes to go for a bath, and then he will have to go onto my shoulder. He'll have to rub his beak. He'll get me wet, and then he'll fly off. And he'll go like on top of the boys' cage down the back there near the canvas and enjoy themselves. Oh dear. So Tuffy and Newbie were not impressed by Pickles' dancing moves. Did you like them? You liked them, did you? What do you want? Are you just happy sitting on there and wooing at me? He's talking to him, Louis, because Louis's wooing in the background as well. Woo. Did I say something wrong? think I got it wrong. Anyway, so I wanted to cover the last couple of questions. Then it's basically just going to be the usual birdie chaos. We'll have these guys out, maybe just play with them a little bit. And then any questions you have to ask, please feel free to drop in the chat. Happy to sort of like answer any questions you have on today's topic or any topic, really. It's all open at that point. So someone asked me on Instagram recently about how often should you replace your bird's toys in their cage? So obviously you want to replace them if they're getting destroyed and you want your birds to destroy them. So if a toy's destroyed, replace it with a new one, maybe the same kind, whatever. If your bird's toy is not getting used and they're not enjoying it and you're not actively, and if you are actively teaching them to interact with it, possibly it's not really fans of it. So that's another reason to replace it. Although in that situation, sometimes when a bird's not interacting with a toy, it's good just to move it around. I found with these guys, there was this like, it was like a bolster sort of a toy, which was in the bottom corner. You probably can't see me gesturing, but it was there. And then they didn't really like it. And then we moved it at the top and then they really enjoyed it. So sometimes positioning can be important. So don't bin a toy immediately or replace it. Try change the position and maybe that will get your parrot to enjoy it. And don't forget to train your parrot to enjoy toys, interact with them. Sometimes you have to train them, have to get them interacting with it. It's really important. So I saw a question that was related to this, so I just want to sort of quickly answer it from Iris. What if your bird doesn't like change with their toys? So you get neophobic birds, you get birds that do dislike change. So I would suggest being more cautious of the change, introducing the change of toy early in the day, reinforcing for interactions with that toy early in the day. Sorry, Scampy, and making sure that they enjoy. You don't know what that means. I'm not doing it properly. Make sure they're enjoying it, and also just if they really don't like it, introduce it outside the cage. Get them to interact with parts of the toy outside the cage and reinforce it. Have the toy laying somewhere they can see it outside the cage, and just introduce it the way you introduce it to a child. You know, so let them see it, let them interact with it. Then bring it in the cage, let them see it, let them interact with it. Take it out if it's a worry, bring it back in. Just let them take it at their own pace, basically. And I say it an awful lot. Parrot was, I love how Pickles and Scampy love to watch themselves and you. I wonder what they see when they watch. Do they see exactly what we see or something different? They've got a lot better vision than ours. And I imagine they've got a bit of UV vision in there. So everything will be much more vibrant and colourful. What it looks like on a screen, that's open to debate. And I would like to, I need to do some more reading. So I'm interested in it as well. But you notice they do react to things on the screen like seeds and treats. They recognise what they are and they interact with them. But if you have older monitors, older screens, that can irritate them because the refresh rate's bad, the way they see is different. So it can be irritating to their eyes and actually get them stressed. So modern stuff, they love it. Older monitors and stuff, they're like, whatever. It's like boring. Charlie's starting up now because he's like, I'm jealous. These guys are out. So let's do a couple more questions and then I'll do the last question, then all the question. Yeah, let's do it that way. So Christina, do Pickles and Scampy talk repeat words? How common is it for conners to actually fully vocalize? Curo is about 1 year old, and I don't know if that's something I should expect. So both male and female conures can talk, and they will vocalize. They can copy our vocalizations. For example, Pickles will say Pickles P, Pickles. Louis says loads of stuff. He says Kipling. He says Louis. He says gooey. He learned that from Kipling. He says Lulu as well. He copies other things. So it depends on how much they're exposed to it and your individual bird. Some conures will vocalize lots. Some will vocalize traditional conure ways. Some will use acquired vocalizations. For example, ones they hear in their environment. Could be something simple as turkey noises, I think someone mentioned in the past, or a car horn. It's variable, but they're all capable of learning to talk, and it's proven. Even Olive will vocalize in certain ways, and she's a confirmed female, and she will say certain things and make these very cute noises. I need to record it, but she always does it so silently. I think Pickles wants to rejoin us, don't you? You do, don't you? I can see you looking in the background. So yes, that was a very long answer. Pioneers, Quaffle's trying to work out who's singing. She's not impressed that she can't see where the sound's coming from. Scampy would probably love to meet Quaffle. He's very curious about other birds and other species as well. And he's obviously like, are you getting excited again? What's wrong with you today? What's wrong with you? So yeah, he likes interacting with birds. Sometimes he can get a bit excited, especially with this one. This one's the instigator of violence, whereas Scampy's more curious. Pickles does not like other birds at all, do you? You are probably like, you like humans, you like Scampy, don't like other birds. And Sophie's been actively working on trying to get him, Olive, and Charlie to interact more. And it's going quite well so far. So maybe you will be more tolerant, won't you? Yeah. Where are you going? Do you want to cuddle now, little bubs? Do you want to cuddle your scrambler? Should I try and put you there, or do you want to cuddle me? Do you want to cuddle Scampy? Scampy doesn't want to cuddle. He's rejecting you. Pickles being rejected by Scampy live on camera. Poor Pickles. Training, you can try and train vocalization with conures. I've never done a video on it, and you can just basically encourage them when they vocalize. So with Olive, when she's done her little, she makes this little noise like what, sort of very cute little noise. We would just reinforce her and capture the behavior when we could. You can do it with a clicker as well. Yeah, just reinforce it. You can train it. Yeah, Ferret Grandma, we rotate our toys as well and clean them. It's well worth doing. So, Iris, this is a good question. Do you think birds know the difference from a fake egg to a real one when swapped? Would that cause stress to them? It's a difficult question to answer, honestly. I would say if you get one that's a similar weight, they probably won't be able to tell. And if you do it in such a way where they're busy elsewhere, when you swap it out, they won't be able to tell just from watching these situations. Will some parrots work it out? 100%. If it doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right, some parrots will be like, whatever, others will accept it. It would be down to the individual bird. Exactly as Alice said, some birds will be fine. I have seen other examples where they'll be rejected, which is why right at the start I sort of recommended trying different types, maybe. Bonnie, listen to everything. Yeah, no swearing. They will learn it, the amount of swearing parrots out there, which sounds funny when you see it, but in reality, they just learn bad habits because their owners have been swearing around them because they've been bitten or whatever. So Avi says a lot of stuff, but she's very camera shy. I will try to get on video. Please do. It'll be very cute to see. Yeah, if any of you watching our channel members or on Patreon or whatever, and you aren't on our Discord server, it's worth joining. You don't always have to interact. We've got a lot of people who like to watch, but there's a lot of chat on there. You can get advice not just from me and Sophie, but from lots of other people on there as well who just share pet parrot advice without the judgment and out the horror stuff. Because a lot of places are very judgmental and very mean, aren't they? You're really just happy sitting with me, aren't you, today? And another thing I'm trying to teach him is to tolerate a bit more kissing, mostly so I can feel his kill, because he doesn't like his belly being kissed, but he tolerates it on the wing. So very dry, very quick, so not to get any hormones going. But I want to be able to feel his kill with my lips because it's a really good way to do it. We were shows as well, Gina. It's very cute. I can't pronounce that, so please forgive me. Claygill. Be careful when training vocalization. It usually means they're heightened. When my connie starts talking, I stay away from it. Very good point. So with Charlie good boy means Charlie is heightened. So I stopped reinforcing that, which is where we made a mistake at the start. We thought he was just interacting and me playing with me. That was a heightened behavior. You can capture conure vocalizations when they're not heightened. You just have to be careful how you do it. You can do it. It is possible, but be mindful of this environment like we talked about before. So it's a very good point. So Alice, after 15 years, my conure only says his no name, but Jojo, in a variety of tones and accents. That's very cute. I mean, Scampy kind of says his name, but he's more of like, he likes to imitate noises rather than speech. And that's fine, Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? You can kind of hear him trying to say Scampy now. Scampy, Scampy, Scampy. You can say it. Can you try one more time? Scampy. Oh, something horrible on my nose. Scampy. You can say it for people? Scampy. Scampy. Good boy. It's kind of there, but he doesn't really practice it very much. So my final set question, then maybe some playtime with the birds, and then we'll just open to Q&A and just general chat and whatever else you want. So again, this is actually quite related. I forgot I got this question down here. So my conure sounds. My handwriting's terrible sometimes, honestly. My conure doesn't sound like yours in your videos. Is he okay? Should I be worried about the way he's vocalizing? And I saw a clip of this as well. Perfectly ties into what we're talking about now. Conyers vocalizing will be completely variable. It's a very, very wide spectrum of noises. There are some consistent noises generally, for example, growling, squealing, alarm calling. But if your conure doesn't vocalize in the same way as other birds, could be just learn to vocalize differently. Could be it's a solo bird that's learned most of its noises from you and the environment. Nothing to worry about. It's more if they were vocalizing and then you hear like this, like a strangled squeak almost, and they can't, then that may be an issue and it may be worth getting a checkup. Just to see if there's like a little bit of seed or something stuck down there, which happened to Olive a long time ago. But generally, it's not really a problem. Conures will vocalize in completely different ways. I would not worry about it. So do not be concerned about it because they're just one of the charming things about them, just a variety of ways they interact and do things. What are you doing? You want to stay there now? What do you want? You stay. She wants to be on the back of the chair now, apparently. So that leads me to the end of my topics for today. So any questions, feel free to shoot them in the chat. I'm going to read through the chat in case there's anything I've missed. Otherwise, I'm just going to babble on about another topic, to be honest. So let's have a quick peek here. Hello, welcome. Sorry if I missed any of you here. I don't know what ham means, but it sounds amusing. Pickles wants to cuddle now. Hello, little one. We need the music from Jaws. That would be quite funny. And trying to get him to imitate the music from Jaws would be quite cute. What do you want? Oh, I've got something funny for you guys to talk about in a second. Actually, it's a bit gross, and I don't know if I've never encountered it before, but yeah, it's interesting. Alice, very naughty. Thank you very much. There is a bit of a naughty train today. So again, me and Sophie always appreciate anything. It's much, I know times are hard right now. So thank you very much, guys. It helps us. It helps our flock. And then less and more Voltron. Thank you as well. You've joined the naughty flock. Should we call it naughty flock? Let's just do something here. Did that pop? No. Why did that not pop up? Okay. It's not working. I want to do a pickles emoji. So you'll get a scrambler. Oh, okay. Not working. Oh my goodness. The only emoji that's working is olive. So please forgive me. Those should have been cute emojis. So I'm going to have to check on that. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gina, for joining the naughty train as well. Don't give too much. You need to save it for your house. But we appreciate all of it. We appreciate all of you just for joining us, and anyone who gives stuff. It's just, yeah, appreciated. We love you all, patrons, channel members, people who drop stuff in the super chats, people who just join us and give us support via comments. All very much appreciated. So let's talk about the gross thing. And I want to talk about something a bit off topic, which is kind of fun, but I want to talk about it now. I'm glad I sort of remembered now as I answer. Oh no, there's a question before I have to do that. Oh, I need a pencil. I have to try to remember now. So let's deal with these questions because they're more important. Here am I talking about how important you are. I'm not going to skip your questions. Laura, sapphires sometimes make a sound that's between a cricket and a frog. It's so cute. Louis does the same. He makes this sort of croaking sound, and they almost quack like ducks sometimes. It's amazing. Iris, how many times should you train your bird in a day? So I believe, or both me and Sophie believe, you should be aiming for 2 to 3 sessions a day. And again, this is going to sound like a speech, so please forgive me because we say it all the time. 2 to 3 sessions a day. It doesn't have to be long. You can just do it for even a minute is fine, but generally 2 to 5 minutes is best. And that is going to maintain most of your behaviors and sort of build on consistency and give you results over a long period. The more training you do, the better. And even if it's only a minute and you can't quite manage that 2 to 5 minutes, do you want back up? Should we go off my head? Is that what you want? Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you've been asking me for. Even if you can only do a minute, repeatedly doing that for a day's consistent will great. Train before breakfast is great. We try to do a quick session in the morning, basically whenever there are outings, quick session in the morning, quick session in the afternoon, quick session in the evening. That maintains behaviors and helps build new ones. And it also enriches their lives, because they like training, they like interacting with us, exercises their brains. It can help with all sorts of behaviors like overstimulation, hormones. And you may not think it would, but if they are getting that mental exercise, it helps them an awful lot in every way. So highly recommend that. So let's talk about Pickles and a gross habit she's picked up on. I'm not sure I should be admitting this live on chat, but I thought it'd be worth doing because it's really odd. So Pickles has this habit of trying to groom up my nose. I don't know where it started. I don't know how she got into it, but she actively wants to go up my nose and she wants to pick at hairs and whatever else is up there. And it comes to the point now where if I'm holding her in my face like that, she will start like gesturing like she wants it. And I'm like, what is so appealing up there? Surely whatever's up there cannot be that tasty to a Konya. It can't be tasty. It can't be nice. And I just honestly do not know why she wants to do it. It's really, really odd. And she keeps doing it as well. I thought, not for Pickles. You can have some cranberry later. I thought, maybe it was a preening behavior like preening my eyebrows or grooming. But she wants to. Wait, you coming back as well? She wants to get up there and lick it, and it's just gross. So Squirt did it as well, Gina. It's really odd. I mean, Scampy will sometimes preen my ears, and if he gets a little bit, I try to keep him quite clean, so it doesn't happen very often. If he gets a little bit, he'll be like, ah. But yeah, maybe it is a preening behavior. She's trying to preen my nose hairs. Okay, I mean, eyebrows are fine, my hair's fine, but not that. Thank you. Gross. So it's something I've been trying to discourage. What's wrong? Oh, it's a magpie on the roof. You see his naughty tail. It's just lots of space, especially up mine, big old nose. Yeah, maybe a preening behaviour. I'm trying to discourage it though. I mean, it was funny initially, and I've been tempted to record it because I think it would be quite a funny video, but it's just a bit odd, so I didn't. So yeah, it's just odd. She's trying to make me perfect. How do they know? I don't know. The little wet tongue. Yeah. So the other interesting thing that's cropping up in our lives recently is I don't know if I mentioned it. I'm Scampy. He just wants to be blown on. I can't do it now, little man. You have to wait till later. He wants to settle down on my hand and be blown on because it's a trained behaviour of him. Sometimes he sees Pickles goes up there, and he sort of associates that with resting time. Oh, you're so cute. He's showing his little eye. Oh, little man. This is basically what he enjoys. He likes to sit there, be blown on while she sits up there and snuggles. But anyway, something interesting's happened is I'm going to get some jumping spiders. I mentioned it on Discord, well, a jumping spider, not multiples. And I found a really nice company that's been sort of like educating me and telling me about how to look after them and what to do with them. They're called Endoscapes. It's not sponsored or anything, so I bought and paid for everything, but I will be doing a little review of their stuff when it arrives. It's quite exciting, quite interesting. I do love insects. We don't have any space and we don't have much time. So looking after insects and just doing sort of a big clean once in a while and ensuring they're fed regularly is kind of a great thing for me. Someone asked if I was going to get the little spider out. Maybe, probably not though. You're licking my sweat now. But yeah, and I'll be doing a video on that. I'll be doing a video on just setting up the enclosure, what I've learned about them, and then I'll be doing one introducing the little guy to enclosure and filming some footage of the little spider. Look at this. Now he's getting overstimulated. Now he's beaking me. You're getting impatient now, aren't you? But yeah, I'm excited. It's something different for me. So hopefully you guys will watch that, because I think it'll be fun. And I do love jumping spiders. They're very cute. And if after that goes well, we're considering maybe getting something else, another small enclosure, but we'll see how things go. I want to learn. I want to do the best I can for them. So there'll be a bit of different content coming out from me coming up, but it won't replace the Parrot stuff. I've got some pre-film stuff I've done. I've got some other ideas as well. I will do more Mr. Bird stuff as well occasionally. I might rebrand him to Mr. Bird. I don't know if you guys would prefer Mr. Bird or the Cocktail Tutor. I'm not sure which one to use. So do let me know which you'd prefer out of the two. But yeah, I'll do the occasional short, and I'm not going to do it very frequently, but I will do parody videos. I've got some ideas for the next one already because people seem to enjoy them. Oh, holy moly. Yeah, they can be very persistent. Chip likes to groom me. If I've got a little injury, he will try and peck it. He's just doing it to help because, he's just trying to preen me. He does sometimes do it to ask for snuggles as well now, which is quite cute. When he wants to be petted, he'll bow his head, and if I ignore him too long, he'll start nibbling me. But yeah, let's take advantage of this and reinforce for calm. Just simple as that, reinforcing for calm. A bit of a break. I notice he's not showing any signs of overstimulation. I reinforce him for it. Perfect example of what I'll be talking about in this video. Do any of you guys keep insects or invertebrates in any way? Maybe you can help me and educate me in that. So, I'd like to learn more. I think it's very cute. So I was one vote for Cocktail Tutor, one for Mr. Bird. I mean, I quite enjoy doing them. It's like a bit of a break for me because I want to do more in-depth content. I'm not gonna blow on you. I'm not gonna give you cuddles if you keep beaking me. I know you're doing it not very hard, but still. Right. Let's pop you on here because I think my voice is getting a bit overexcited for you. And then if he does come back, we'll see. So, Mr. Bird, the Cocktail Tutor. Maybe I should do. It is on brand. If I do everything, it's like a title, a proper title. So, Mr. Bird deserves the whole title. We haven't, Gina. We're waiting for the enclosure. So, what we're doing with the enclosure is we're getting enclosure in. I'm going to get it all set up. I'm going to film setting it up. What I've learned about it. I'm going to get the cleanup crew. So, I'm getting some cleanup crew, some little isopods and spring towels to put at the bottom. Get it all set up. Get it all ready, and make sure it's all going well. Then we're going to bring the jumping spider in. I'm going to film that in a separate video, make sure he's okay, or he or she's going to be okay. And then if that goes well, maybe more in the future. So Tasha, African dwarf frogs, that's cool as well. I mean, I'm not sure I'd keep aquatic animals myself, but I think they're really awesome. I love seeing them. I'm always envious of other people. It's just the time and the what's happening in the background? That's fish being silly. The time and effort. That's why I went for invertebrates and arachnids, because it's a little bit less effort there. I still want to make sure everything's right for them, and I'm still going to make sure they're fed and checked on regularly, but I don't have to constantly interact with them. They don't require attention from me, whereas I feel to an extent a lot of other animals do. I'm not sure if frogs do. I don't know, maybe they're quite happy on their own. Parrots and Will setting up for a bearded dragon, they're very cool as well. Oh yeah, it's all really cool. I like them. I like reptiles, but again, I probably wouldn't keep them anymore. Not unless we had a much bigger property. And I think if I was to veer towards anything, it'd be more bugs, invertebrates, and more parrots. Not really aquatics, not really rodents, that sort of thing. Maybe a dog or a cat at some time. But then me and Sophie are going to need a lot more views on YouTube to get to that point. But yeah, I just like animals in general. To be honest, they're all really cool. They're all really cool. So where did I miss a message from Laura Voltron? He does amazing vivarium. Where did I miss something? I don't know if one of your messages didn't appear, Laura Voltron. You said he does amazing vivarium. Who's doing the amazing one? Is this a recommendation for me? So Tasha, they're very chill. Just do I need to clean a tank? Pretty cool. So they're pretty relaxed, enjoy their own company. Maybe I should consider frogs at some point. I like the idea of it. So, right, guys. So things are starting to tail off a little bit now. I've sort of done my surprise announcement of the jumping spider. Everyone's, okay, thank you very much. I'll have a check on that site. I'll have to write it down before the end of this as well, or just watch my chat replay. But yeah, so if there's any sort of burning questions anyone wants to ask at the end of this chat, so I'll be going in 5 minutes, please feel free to drop the questions in now. Anything you want to say, anything you want to see, let me know now. Otherwise, I'll start winding things down and just sort of catch you up on chat and maybe think of a couple of topics that have cropped up recently in the bird world to entertain you for the next couple of minutes. Or I could just go, disappear, whatever you guys want. For now, though, just a quick drinky. So I will check that out, listen more Voltron. I do like to see sort of different setups. I find it interesting seeing other people's setups and seeing what they do. I think it's very cute. It's the same with the birds. So it's something me and Sophie are like lacking at the moment. We want to see more bird content that we want to learn from. For us, we're having to turn to sort of like really old stuff or like read onto it or read articles. And this is going to sound really harsh, but it's just not, how do I say it diplomatically? There's not a lot of stuff we're learning from ourselves on YouTube right now because we want to learn, we want to be inspired like we used to be. And it's just, yeah, we're not seeing as much of it. We want to see more content inspired, not just copied or similar content, but stuff that makes us think, wow, that's something we've really learned. It's very rare. It only happens once in a while now. Do you want down? That's what you want. I mean, you could Parrots and Wills. You have to wait and see what happens, won't you? That's pretty cool as well, Bonnie. But yeah, maybe they will. Maybe you can just keep on getting more. I mean, it is a collection. Although, I don't know when is enough. When you get enough of these little guys, you're not going. You can say hello to people. You're not going on top. Tasha, there'll be individual. So sorry about that. Firstly, and there will be differences between birds. They will have their own personalities. For example, what people have said about cockatiels. Cockatiels tend to be a little bit less nibbly than these guys. Cockatiels also, I find, are a bit more neophobic. They're a bit more scared of new things than other parrots, although you find it in individual personalities. They're less into their cuddles and scritches, so you have to be like getting them used to it and only around the head and neck strictly. They suffer from night frights. If you explore my channel, there's a lot of cockatiel content because they're probably one of my favourite types of bird. Probably cockatiels and conures are my favourites, to be honest, although I love all other types as well. And there's lots of stuff on cockatiels and how to get set up for them. Loads of content. Thank you, Ferret Grandma. I'm glad our content's helpful, and thank you guys for watching it. Iris, the only cool content about birds comes from us. I mean, we very much appreciate it. There is some good stuff out there, but most of it's older. Flock Talk does some reasonable stuff, but sometimes I find the videos are a bit long for me when I have spare time, but I have to watch it in bits that time. But thank you very much, Iris. There's a big vote of confidence there for us. This guy's really desperate for attention. He's just basically telling me continuously he wants to cuddle, he wants me to blow on him. He's getting very impatient. So in the next minute, I am going to have to go and I'm going to do it for him because he's going to get very sad, aren't you? You're going to say the pig was going to tell you off. Yeah. So what I'll do. So Tasha, that's a big whole sort of new ball game. We always recommend rescuing, adopting. However, it depends on individual circumstance, your individual experience. We'll never say don't get it from a breeder or a pet shop, but sometimes adopting does come with additional work. It's really rewarding, really valuable, really worthwhile, but sometimes you have to put a bit of extra work. I've got videos on rescues too. It's well worth exploring. Make an informed decision, prepare yourself, ask lots of questions about if you decide to adopt, ask loads of questions about the parrot so you know what you're getting yourself in for and you can be prepared for it. All of our conures, apart from Charlie's a rehome, not really a rescue. All of our conures are rescues apart from Charlie, or have rescue backgrounds. But, you know, they've come with a lot of extra work. So, yeah. So, guys, I'm going to wrap things up so poor Scampy can have his cuddles and his relaxation time. It was a pleasure, as always, to be joined by all of you. I really appreciate talking to all of you. It's lots. I'm sorry, Charmaine, I can't really cover that yet. There's if your bird's flown away, there's a really good bird tricks video that talks about how to get them back. Will you come back? Make sure you do flyers. Make sure you leave food out. Make sure you're searching for him in a constructive way and be calm about it. Okay. Sorry, I can't give more information. That I really do have to wrap it up. So thank you all for joining me. Hopefully speak to you all soon and see you later from me and Scampy and Pickles, who's back on the substrate. See you later and take care.